What's going on, everybody? It's Afro Think Tank. I want to talk about why in the Black community we need to go back to elevating our women to their rightful position. And if we do that, it will benefit us and it will bring us back to our position of power and in the community, in the world. Let me explain. Africans, we've been here longer than everybody else. Okay, we are the original humans. We are the original spiritual beings manifested in flesh. We created religion. We created spirituality. We've created all those things. We have our culture was built originally around the idea or the fact that the woman and God herself is in fact a female, a feminine spirit, a feminine being. And in most African religions, spiritualities, whatever you want to call them, before the influence of the Asian or the European, before the influence of their religions and their doctrines and their ways of living, before that distortion in our way of life, the female has always been God. God has to be a female. God births man. You understand? God births man. So in essence, by default, God is a female. And God's catalyst on earth is the female, the woman, okay? The wombing man. The woman, all right? The Black woman has always been the stabilizing force in Black culture. Always. No matter what situation arises, it's always been the Black woman that the Black man has gone to for guidance, for comfort, for love, for stability, for everything. The Black woman has always been the motivation for the Black man. And the Black man originally was not so self-conscious and insecure, about their woman. It was not a competition. It was in fact a partnership. You see, the Black woman protrudes a level of strength that Black men today no longer appreciates. You see, the Black woman is stronger than the Black man, and that's okay because they are the birthers of life. Women have access to like a realm, a dimension that we as men can't even fathom. They are the doorway, the passageway for life, for the spirit of the universe to manifest itself into physical being. They are the most precious jewel, the most precious being on this planet, and they should be protected as such. Okay? Their mental capacity and their cognitive ability is a stabilizing force in nature. Okay, look at the animal kingdom itself. The female is the foundation on which all life thrives. All life thrives. And instead of the way Africans used to celebrate that, you would elevate that woman high. You would put her at the top, put her in positions of power so that she can help us men make decisions about the community, about our state, about our countries, about our tribes, so that we can flourish, so that we as men, because we have our own roles too, so that we as men can be reined in sometimes, can be controlled when needed, can be released when needed. The goal of a man is to protect this woman, to protect this jewel, to put her at the top on the pedestal, because the saying behind every good man is a even better woman. Behind every wise man is a wiser woman. And to have a good quality man that would teach his children, his males, to be respectable, productive members of society. It takes a woman to teach that man to teach his sons. With that chain, when that chain breaks, it's chaos. And in this day and age, with us being assimilated into the Western culture, we now belittle our women instead of looking at our women as jewels, instead of looking at our women as oracles, as goddesses, as queens. What we do is we look at them as possessions, as boxes of power, as tools to be possessed and controlled and stomped down. We keep them down. It's the male insecurity, because some men feel like in order for them to be a man, they must rule over the woman. Not knowing that to be a real man, to be a king, you must protect your woman, because your kingdom is the woman. In all African spiritualities, for the most part, the goddess, the stories, there's a goddess. The goddess creates the man for her own pleasure. And then that goddess falls in love with that man. And then there's a immaculate conception. And then there's human beings spread across the world. That's pretty consistent amongst most African traditions. From the Egyptians all the way down to, the South African traditional religion. Everywhere, the religions, even though they have different characters representing different elements of earth and different ideas, they're pretty much all consistent. Okay? The Western world, or the white world, Asian world, they don't do that. They possess their women. They own their women. Their religions belittle and possess their women. They tell them that their period is a sin, that they are less than man, that they are second-class citizens. Islam, not all Islam, the majority of Islam they're teaching their men to belittle and possess these women as nothing but a tool to create life, instead of elevating that woman to be the oracle and the queen that she is. The white woman has been fighting for their equality in Europe the entire time. And every time a white woman has risen to the top, it's always been a white man to destroy them, burn them at the stake. When they practice any religion that was not Christianity, they call them witches. They burn them at the stake. They labeled them. They took hot coal and they marked their bodies. Their culture is to belittle the woman. And we as Black people have taken on that culture to belittle our women. Even in our music, every single rap song is about how a Black man can get their penis sucked by a woman. How a Black man can be promiscuous with as many women as he wants. How the Black woman is nothing but a sexual toy. How the Black woman is trash. And that's the music that we listen to. That's the music that has permeated through our culture and is teaching and programming our young children to devalue the woman. And even the women themselves have learned to embrace being devalued, and they hold it as a badge of honor. We've tricked ourselves. We need to take our women, put them back on a pedestal. If we put our women back on a pedestal and allow them to be the oracles that they are, allow their ability to manage situations and be more, as I say, balanced, allow us to take advantage of those attributes that they carry. The man role is to be the king of men. The man role is to be the protector of women. We have muscles, yes, we're stronger, but that's just physical. That's just physical. Our strength that is given to us by the woman is designed to protect the woman, to nurture the woman, to keep her safe, so that she can take on the task of birthing children, take on the task of rearing our next generation. That takes a lot of energy and sacrifice, and they do not have the time to do the other things, that's necessary to survive. So that is what we are here for, to protect them. They sacrifice themselves every month. They bleed. They're in pain. When they give birth, they sacrifice flesh and blood for us to survive. Even the female God themselves did not make the female in flesh have an easy time giving birth. This is a painstaking sacrificial process that no man could take. We're not built that way. Okay? So because of that, they need a man to protect them, to do the things that's necessary. And that's what we need to get back to. As an African American myself, I recognize that hip hop is a very influential music genre. And it's one of the most influential music genres that is utilized to fight the powers that be all around the world through all cultures. But it's also can be turned against us, which it has been turned against us, and it's hurting us. And we need to display to the world that hip hop, though a part of African American culture, is not the defining culture of African Americans. It's just a part of us, and we need to rein that in as well. So I just think that we need to elevate our women, and women need to accept nothing less. Women need to accept nothing less but to be elevated as the gods that they are. They need to be trained to be little princesses, little gods, little goddesses. They need to have that in their hearts. And they need to accept nothing but a man that wants to be their king. Period. And they need to be trained. And I'm saying the word trained. Our women need to be trained to be black women. That's why I'm so glad that Africans and African Americans and other Caribbeans, we're starting to mix, we're starting to blend, we're starting to get together, because we need that African training. We need that. We need that. We need that back in our system. We need that programming back in our lives to give us balance. And Africans also, who've been corrupted by the European and the Asian, also need some of the things that we have to give to them. The awareness of what's going on. The macro view, not the micro view, but the macro view of the world and what's going on in the world. And the key thing is why things are happening. X, why. Why is a very important question. So instead of complaining about things that are happening, you figure out why those things are happening, and then you get to that. And when you find out what that is, you ask why again until you get to the root cause of the problem. And I think that if we all do that, we will find out what the root problem is. We kind of already know what it is. Okay? So I just wanted to say that we need to get back, as black men, we need to get back to elevating our black women to their position. And it does not take away from the power of the black man. It only elevates and gives the black man even more power to fight the enemies that are trying to harm our communities. So that's all I wanted to say. Every day I always say, you got to learn something. You got to teach somebody. Teach something. If you have a piece of information that's important, don't hold it for yourself. Tell somebody. Okay, and that's how we're gonna get better. Information. This is the age of information. We need to utilize that so we can elevate ourselves. Okay. So this has been Afro Think Tank. Teach something, learn something. I am out. Peace.